In this video, we're talking about how to master the first 30 seconds of a cold call. This little device has made me millions of dollars over my short career, and I want to teach you how to do the same. So before you even make your first phone call, there's a few key points I want to bring up. Number one is get yourself into a peak state. Sit in a power position, stand in a power position. Years ago when I started doing this, I would sit down, I'd be hunched over, I'd be kind of like this over the screen when I'm making my cold calls, and I realized that if I stood up or if I sat in a power position, my energy was completely different. So if you're just starting out, I definitely recommend standing for the first couple times, at least maybe for your first couple days that you're doing it, stand up so you understand the difference. Because when you're sitting down, it's harder to control your energy unless you've had the practice. So number one is get yourself into a peak state, high energy state, so that when you're on the phone, they can relate to that energy. People like working with me because of my energy. Energy attracts people. Number two, your opening line is so crucial, and so many of us just wing it. And listen, you can have your scripts in front of you and legitimately just read off the page. You don't have to wing it. You want to read off the page and get straight into the point. How many calls do you get a day from these crazy cold callers all over the place getting you, trying to sell you on warranties and your business that and your student loans this, your credit card that? We get hundreds of them. But the reason why they don't get you is because they don't understand how to dive right into the call right away. And a lot of them go, "Hi, I'm looking for the business owner," or "Hi, I'm looking for Henry." You want to jump right into it and go, "Hey, Henry. Hey, John. Hey, Sally." You want to get right into it and you want to assume that that is the person on the other end of the phone. And listen, if you don't understand how to pronounce the name, I jump into, "Is this the owner of 123 Main Street?" Or I'll say the last name, like, "Hi, Miss Smith." "Hey, Mr. Smith," and I'll jump right into it, and I'm still going to assume that call. The next part about it is get to the point. You want to say who you are and the reason for your phone call. So again, if you're calling expires and you want to jump right into it and you go, "Hey John, this is Henry with EXP Realty. The reason for my phone call is I saw your home was just recently taken off the market, and I was curious if you were still looking to sell it," and then shut up. Because a lot of us like to babble and talk and word vomit all over the person on the other end of the phone. And if you're that person, I assure you, you're kind of like, thanks, goodbye. Right? You're just going to get hung up on. You want to get who you are, the reason for the phone call out, and then as soon as you finish your line, shut up and let them talk. Don't continue, right? And it could get awkward on the phone. Next part is it's a numbers game. You're never going to get all of them, but it's important to realize that, you should be practicing so you get a majority of these. You should have high energy. You should be practicing your scripts. You should be doing all these things. There's a lot of amateurs, especially in the real estate business. And if you're just a little bit better than everybody else, your conversion rate is going to go through the roof, I assure you. So when you're making your calls every day, try to shoot for a certain amount of phone calls or conversations. Don't worry about the results so much. Because listen, at the very beginning of my career, I was just trying to get 10 no's. I wanted 10 people to get me off the phone. I wanted to speak to just 10 people and tell me no. Because I knew if I got 10 no's and that turned into 20 no's and then 50 no's a day, I would get my appointment. And then I flipped my mindset of saying, okay, I'm going for an appointment. Just because I was so terrified to get on the phone, I had to go for a no because I was like, everybody hates me. And I wasn't practicing my scripts. But over time, I was like, okay, I'm getting on the phone and I'm not getting off until I get my appointment. I remember making 100 contacts, not calls, contacts per day. We're talking 6, 7, 800 phone calls a day. I was on the dialer, Mojo dialer at mojosales.com. But I would make hundreds of phone calls. I would speak to hundreds of people a day. And I was just trying to get an appointment. I would not get off the phone until I did so. And now listen, I only have a 2-hour window every single day. But in my 2-hour block, now my goal is how do I get 3 to 5 appointments every single day of my life, right? Because it's because of the practice, because of my energy, because of the state that I'm in, right? Next point, whoever has the most certainty, the most confidence is going to win the appointment. Right? And for them, they're just trying to get off the phone because they don't realize that they need you. You're just cold calling them. Half the time, they don't even know who you are. After you build up a reputation, sometimes when I call them, I'm like, oh, I know who you are. But at the very beginning of your career, you're going to want to build up certainty and you're going to want to build up confidence. And you're probably wondering, what does that take? And that comes from practice. That comes from role playing with a partner, which is one of our other points here. It comes from doing it over and over and over and over again. And you have to realize this is like a business. You should be treating it like a business. It takes practice. And it takes time for you to get pretty skillful at it. I was playing soccer for almost 15 years. I was terrible at it because I never practiced. When I went to practice, I wasn't even trying to do it. When I'm practicing, when it comes to my scripts, you gotta give it 100%. When you're role-playing hypothetically with a partner, which is the next point here, when you role-play with a partner, it is really, really powerful and important that you pretend like it's real life, like it's a real phone call, right? You need to criticize yourself and say, where can I critique it, right? I used to record myself. I have a lot of people and clients that I work with that I've been coaching them up for a little bit now, where we record their phone call so they can hear themselves. Because again, it's very hard for you to coach yourself. So when you're doing your role plays, you want to be critical. They should be giving you objections that you do not know the answers to so you can practice them, right? They give you critique. Maybe your energy could be a little bit higher, right? So next part is get a role-playing partner like we talked about. Find somebody just like you or maybe a couple steps above you who can help you, guide you, can critique you like you need to hear it, right? It's not what you want to hear, it's what you need to hear to get better. Another point here is write down all the objections that you're getting throughout the calls that you're making. At the beginning of my career, I would be calling, and then the second I got an objection I didn't know the answer to, I'd be like, click, and hung up. I would take my pad of paper, and I would write down all the objections that I got. This way, when I got it again, I knew what I would have to say. Because I would practice and practice and practice and practice all those objections that I would get. And what you realize over your career is that there's really only so many objections. And when you practice them and you know them with certainty and you have high energy on the call and you've done it thousands of times, you become pretty unstoppable on the phones. And I know now I get a lot of phone calls from my teams even like, wow, that guy was screaming at you at the beginning of the phone call and you still set an appointment with him? How'd you do that? It's because I'm so freaking certain and I have so much confidence and so much energy on the call and I am so prepared for whatever he says to me or she says to me on the phone. I'm ready for that appointment. That's all I'm thinking the whole time. Listen, we went over a lot of points again. High energy, peak state. Number 2, your opening line is crucial. You need to practice it. It's a numbers game. Don't stop making calls, right? Whoever has the most certainty and confidence is going to win that call. Number 5, write down all your objections. And number 6, you're going to practice and role play with a partner. It is important and imperative if you want to dominate the cold calling or just the phone call world, because this relates to anybody that you are calling with this device. It relates to anybody, not just a cold call. Any kind of phone call you're making, you need to hit all these points. These are some powerful points. Practice if you need to. I really want to see you blow it up this year. And if you need anything else, comment down below. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. I'll see you soon.